So you've got to be careful. As you progress with your partner, both of you will be competing to get the best gear. I know for Glenn and I, that's how it goes, right? It's what happens with your friend, isn't it? You're like, oh, I see you got a new pistol there. It's nice. And secretly, you're there, like every time you see a box, you're whittling it into your pockets. You're literally walking around like this, out of the level, and you're appraising all your items, and you're just making sure that you've got the best gear, and then being like, I don't know what happened. I've got this new high-powered sniper rifle and you've only got a pistol. It's a shame. It's the best co-op that you can get on the Nintendo Switch by a country mile at the moment. If you're a big fan of playing games with friends, as you can see, I've got loads of friends play with. Luckily it's got an online mode. Essentially Raid mode is what COD Zombies is to Call of Duty. Raid mode is that to Resident Evil. What it is it's an added on extra whereby you can play with up to 4 people, and it has a real RPG element to it. Kind of combines things like the Horde mode in Gears of War, and obviously, as has just been mentioned, in COD, you've got that Zombies mode that has the RPG kind of progression to it. So an average level will look something like this. You load in and you're greeted with maybe a couple of zombies just slowly ambling towards you. It will say the level of those zombies next to them. So as you shoot them, as you do damage, especially if you get the headshots, they'll fall quickly and you'll be thinking to yourself, man, this is easy. As you progress through those stages, however, those zombie levels will go up. And the stage will have a recommended level that you tackle it. You don't have to follow that. So if you've got like a level 1 character, you can go into a harder level stage and you'll actually get rewarded for tackling levels at or above your level. So that's nice. It doesn't mean, it means that there's a challenge to it, and it does get tricky fast. Take, for example, the 5th level. Even on the first stage, you'll be fighting zombies that can run. You'll be fighting zombies that can explode. There's these little mutations on the ground, and if you trigger them by shooting a bullet at them, they'll just explode. If you're anywhere near that, you're gonna get wrecked. Now, the raid mode is deep. I was surprised by how deep it was, and I've never played any of the raid modes in previous games. As you load into the game, you're greeted with a tutorial that kind of guides you through the very first few steps. You're in this kind of small room, and in there you've got weapon customizations. You can change the look of your character, you can choose which character you're going to have, and each character has very specific skills that you can level up. Now, while as you move throughout the game, and I think you can get up to over level 100 with each character, you'll have different skill progressions and different skill options to choose from for each character, so it really isn't just a visual change. So as I was saying, when you first get into this, you'll think, maybe this is a shallow experience, maybe this is just a little tacked on feature. But it became so popular in the past that it actually became its own game, and I can see why. I've only played the raid mode on Resident Evil Revelations 2, and I've only needed to. I've probably put in about 5 to 10 hours so far. Most of that time was with a friend. Ding! Got friends, honest. And we had an absolutely fantastic time. It allows you to fully upgrade your character, and they also have the experience of upgrading their character. They're not just tacked on to the side of you. Now obviously they can't take that progression, he can't take that progression back to his Switch, which is a shame. But in the future, when he owns the game, we can just be in the same room and do it online, so he can use his character and I can use my character. If you're a fan of statistics, every weapon has its own statistics. So for example, throughout the mission, you might pick up these little tokens, and they have different colors which reflect different rarities of weapon pickup. And then you have to get these appraised. So you go back to that room and you go to one of the booths and you can pay money to appraise, not real money, EA. You can pay money to appraise these items, and then it shows you the statistics of each gun. I love this. When games have this is me sold straight away. So you'll have like 5 different pistols and you'll be appraising them, but then one of them will have that fast fire rate and you'll be able to absolutely annihilate those headshots. Speaking of headshots, the controls on this game. Now, say what you will about Capcom and Mega Man, which is going to be released in the next couple of months. You heard it here first. But actually, they've done some good ports. This is a really fantastic port. The game's running really smooth, 60 frames per second most of the time. Even when we were split screen, it didn't drop a frame, it was lovely. And in a game like this, where you can use the Joy-Con for those motion controls and that precise aiming, it's perfect. Top tip, when you get the game, make sure you go into the Switch options and recalibrate the motion controls on your Switch. My friend did have a little bit of problem with the controller kind of going haywire. We didn't really get to the bottom of that, but with my own controller I had a few issues until I recalibrated it, and then it was perfect. On that note, you can spend the cash that you earn in the games in a store, so you can go and buy specific weapons, but obviously the ones that you find tend to be just as good, and you can modify each weapon with different modifications that you pick up in the levels. So for example, he had this pistol that he got, and he got this little modification that made the bullets electrified. Click that bad boy in. Then he got another one which made them homing. Click that little bad boy in. So his bullets were homing and they electrify the enemies. And then I have had one that would set my bullets on fire, that steadied my gun, because I found with the Joy-Cons, especially with the assault rifles, you really need to do that that kind of burst fire, otherwise it just goes all over the place. But as soon as I found the spray reduction, so it kept it nice and straight, it made the world of difference. The game feels like an RPG. For £17.99, you've got this kind of RPG tacked onto the side of an otherwise impressive game. I mean, Resident Evil, if you're a big fan like I am, please release, Capcom, please release all the old games as like a master pack. I will buy it. I'm gonna buy it. If you've never played a raid mode, and if you've kind of not been with Resident Evil for a while and maybe you kind of lost love of it, I really recommend that you go back, you get this game, you try this raid mode. If I were to review this on its own, as a separate package entirely, I'd give it at least 8 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10. As a co-op game, it's a 10 out of 10. It is a no-brainer. If you've got more than one friend, or even if you've just got one friend, this is the option for you. If you've been looking for a deep co-op experience, this is the game for you. Pick it up if you haven't done so already. You won't regret it. Thanks again, guys. The channel has been going a bit crazy. I think we've had like 100 subscribers in the last 2 or 3 weeks, which is amazing. Keep that coming, and I will see you guys on the next one. Switch up.